pleasure to introduce Disk. I'll not take much time on this particular slide because he's going to talk about this particular uh, very innovative organization throughout his entire presentation. But I take this great opportunity to introduce my great friend, great human being, and one of the most innovative person I ever met in last couple of years. I know him for I think last from 2017-18. I used to come to Sahyadri a lot, and Mr. Vilashin, the managing director of Sahyadri, very specifically took me to Disk and introduced the entire setup. He has been involved with some of the most exciting large technology innovations in rural, agri-tech, healthcare, public services, water mobility, crowd management, leveraging design thinking process. He has great and rich experience of 17 plus years in leading various large-scale technology program implementations, including 7 plus years of very detailed experience in nurturing social innovation ecosystems in India. He is co-founder and CEO of Kumbhathon Innovation Foundation, which started in association with Dr. Ramesh Raskar from MIT Media Lab from Boston to solve important challenges faced in Nashik Kumbh Mela in year 2015. He, along with Kumbhathon team, implemented 10 plus innovations while engaging with more than 1,000 innovators in Nashik Kumbh Mela by creating Nashik as a social innovation ecosystem, along with global scientists, local administration, academia, industry, NGOs, and every stakeholder of this entire ecosystem. This was very successful venture, and from there started a great journey called Digital Impact Square. I'm really proud to know him, then Professor Pachorkar, because at Sahyadri we work hand in hand with both of these gentlemen as well as this organization and other associated organizations from Tata Group. And believe me, when I saw the entire journey, I always dreamt and always was talking to you that we should really at RAB do something which is very similar to this particular organization. Without taking much time from all of you, I request Sandeep sir to please start his talk and enrich us with his great experience. Over to you, Sandeep sir.
Uh, Thank you, Abba. It's my pleasure, and whenever I meet you, it's always a very enriching experience. Thanks for the generous word. Today, I'm going to share some of the learnings and experience I had, and definitely would love to learn from all of you also. So, I thought
Sandeep sir,
not to share.
before that, if you don't mind, Manali has got the video link for this. If you don't mind, can you play that? Can we play that?
Yeah.
Manali, can you do it quickly?
Yes, sir. I hope it's visible and audible.
Yes.
Digital Impact Square is an open innovation platform meant for creating social impact and enhancing lives of billions of people while fostering a startup culture across India. It is a place for solving real-life challenges in social themes. Here, innovators collaborate with citizens, government, academia and industry.
जे रेग्युलर युजर आहे त्यांना आता सगळं टायमिंग वगैरे त्यांना माहिती असतात, पण आपली बस काय लेट झाली का नाही हे पण त्यांना कळू शकतं.
Whenever or whatever is a problem, you can approach the highest authority in the corporation, that is me, at any point of time.
I look at innovation in three buckets, if you would. You have to create with freedom, you have to nurture with passion, and you have to change with detachment.
We are delighted to work with TCS to think about how can we create a next generation of innovators.
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'll share my screen. Please confirm if you are able to see that.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to share what we have been learning since last couple of years. So I thought while sharing journey of Digital Impact Square, it is also important to share how this ecosystem of social innovation or entrepreneurship is actually developed and nurtured in India, and how DISC is playing a role, and how DISC also evolved, right? So we call DISC short form for Digital Impact Square is a DISC. So Abba mentioned couple of times DISC. So Digital Impact Square is also called as a DISC. So as slide suggests, so we focus on enhancing lives through transforming minds. And if you look at one of the key things, what we focus on, leading the change by creating change maker. So as this is a TCS Foundation initiative, where we support the change maker, young minds in India, and really transforming them and nurturing them to really solve some of the important problems in the nations. And I'll share some of the example today in subsequent slides. So this is what Digital Impact Square's vision is. So we actually nurture the change makers by imparting entrepreneurship and as well as innovation skill sets in the young minds in India. And this is amazing model we have created, which actually helps them to leverage digital technology and create a sustainable and scalable social impact. See, many times research happens, new innovations happens, but those are actually mostly are there in the lab. So this is an initiative where we really create a sustainable and scalable model. And that's where social entrepreneurship is one of the focus area here at Digital Impact Square. So when we solve the challenges, we actually not only solve those for one time, but it is like a model which is created and converted into social enterprises. One of the most important thing we believe is, especially in the social innovation space, you cannot actually create impact just doing something in the lab, in the silo. It is very important to create a culture of innovation in the ecosystems with which you are working. So we actually engage with a lot of ecosystem players during the journey, and you will actually experience that during this presentation today. So let's start with where we stand as a social innovation landscape in India. So this is what, if you look at, it starts with, let's say, problem to solution fit. So if any social enterprises wants to kind of do interventions, mostly they look at some of the problems which are very critical in the ecosystem to solve. Then once you identify a problem, a kind of solution to even solve that problem, we call that as a spot probe approach at Digital Impact Square. Then it comes to a grow phase at Digital Impact Square, which is like a product to market fit. So Digital Impact Square is a residential program which actually focuses on helping very early stage startups, early stage teams, I would say, or individuals who are very passionate about it. I will definitely discuss the model in detail in subsequent slide. But if you look at the other player in the ecosystems are equally important, but they focus on when, let's say there is a startup which has a minimum viable prototype, a product ready. They have actually validated the business model. They already have identified a team. They already identified a right opportunity to solve. So all these validations are done, and there are a lot of players in the ecosystems. Let's say Social Alpha is one of the initiative by Data Trust, which focuses on helping them to scale the impact. What we focus on identifying a right opportunity, building a right model, and helping them to deploy it in multiple geographies. And then there are high growth network. But there are hardly anybody who's actually in this space of early stage or where there is no support for a startup. Now, so far, I'm happy to share this is a unique model, and with this unique model, we are able to create a 45 change makers. So far, almost 400 plus innovators actually went through this innovation cycle in last couple of years. And out of that, 45 became change maker, and 11 of them actually have started. 11 social enterprises have been started by this 45 change maker. And I'm happy to share one of the important aspects we look at Digital Impact Square is lives impacted. So almost close to 6 million lives have been impacted by these social enterprises since March 2016. And the same model is actually quite appreciated and now replicated in different part of the globe also. So Seed Lab is another initiative similar like DISC, where our customer Petronas and TCS together have set up that in Malaysia. So this is very unique model. But why this is unique is because of the Nasik as a sandbox. If you look at the right side of the slide where I'm sharing the sandbox for a spot probe. See, there are many takers when you have a solutions, when you have MVP in place. But this journey of from identifying the right opportunity to really converting into right minimum viable product and minimum and also with right business model is a definitely a tough journey, and as well as a lot of failures. And that's where Nasik plays a very important role. And as many of you know that Nasik is a very unique district also. It has an urban, rural and tribal ecosystem. So it gives a very right flavor for any social enterprise to experiment pilot in any kind of ecosystem. And so we also encourage them to do a deep field immersion through various partners. So Sahyadri Farms is one of the key partner and very good support we've been getting for rural and agriculture related initiatives in Digital Impact Square. Similarly, there are other partners like Kumbhathon Innovation Foundation and others are playing an important role. But what we focus on the co-creation for early stage startups, and I'll cover in the subsequent slide. Let's take some of the examples so that you know what I'm sharing. So take an example of Tilt. Tilt is one of the platform which is focusing on bicycle sharing. So they started with the normal bicycle. Now they also have e-bikes also as a part of the platform. If you look at globally, there are various bicycle sharing platform, whether it is leveraging e-bikes or normal bicycles also, are not profitable or sustainable. But they, when they came to Digital Impact Square, they identified a right model, right user segment and customer segment. Now they are one of the profitable social enterprise focusing on bicycle sharing as a entity. And I'm happy to share, it's also a proud moment for we as a Digital Impact Square. This year they actually got selected in the Y Combinator. It's one of the prestigious incubation center globally. Across globally, I think 150 startups selected, and they are one of those got selected. And one of the key reasons they got selected is because of this. So they identified the right model which suits India. And we can't just import models as well as technology outside India. But there are certain nuances of Indian ecosystem that needs to be understood. So this team has done. So there is another startup called SenseDose Technology focusing on TB as an important problem. So TB has a multiple aspect when it comes to TB. An Honorable Prime Minister a couple of years back said that we would like to eradicate TB from India by 2025. But if you look at, there is one of the major challenge as per the research. So multi-drug resistance and the later part of the patients are actually increasing in India. So there is something called category 1, category 2, which are early stage TB, and MDR and XDR are the later part of the TB, and those are increasing. And one of the key reasons is non-adherence to the medications. With the current solutions available with the government and other ecosystem players, it actually gives around 60-70% of adherence on field. However, as per the research, if you have a 85% and above adherence, only then you will be able to cure TB. Otherwise, it will move to the next segment, which is from, let's say, Cat 1 to Cat 2 to maybe an MDR and XDR. Now, this team have created a platform, IoT-based platform, which actually can help to do this adherence properly, and has increased significantly from 60 to 70% to 95% plus. With that, actually, they are one of the startup got funding from India Health Fund, a couple of crores, to really pilot this in multiple districts and state before it can be launched to the national level. Reason I'm sharing this, their uniqueness and winning this grant is, along with them, there were many people who participated. Maybe people who might have spent 25 years in the TB space. However, they got selected. They just spent 2 years at Digital Impact Square and graduated. But the kind of field immersion we give exposure and right design thinking approach help them to identify right opportunity for the community. And there are many of this. So I'll walk you through a couple of use cases or case studies. So this is Vestatogo Innovations. So this actually challenge we launched along with our ecosystem partners, Sahyadri Farms and Tata Motor. When we started this challenge, that time focus was, how do we really solve the rural mobility problem? That's how Sahyadri and Tata Motor both were keen to solve this problem. Akshay, Sagnika, Ashish and Vaibhav came together and started understanding the ecosystem. Believe me, the model, mobility model in the urban, the same model doesn't work in rural. So through co-creation and as well as good access of rural community through Sahyadri, they understood that a trust-based ecosystem and credit-based ecosystem is very important in the rural India. And as well as needs they have are completely different. So what they have came up with the completely different model. So they have reimagined the rural mobility today. They have created a two platform. One is a Gramic platform, which is like a Uberization of commercial vehicle, but it is a demand-driven demand-driven Uberization, where agri-businesses or farmer producer company are actually onboarded on the platform, whereas farmers are actually also getting an access to these agri-businesses and APOs. So Sahyadri is actually have deployed this platform. And with this platform, what they are able to do is farmers are able to bring their commodity crop to the central processing units, and they are able to aggregate this entire thing on field. And the other platform they have actually created in mobility solutions for managing the agri-businesses. So their traceability and entire mobility management is actually done in the agriculture value chain. And I'm happy to share, last 2 years working closely with Sahyadri, they actually now scaled to 136 villages, more than 7,000 farmers. And so far, 250K tons of actually crop or goods were delivered through their platform, or they facilitated the entire mobility of the platform, which is a worth of almost more than $74 million. And now you can imagine, young minds doing this.
Sir, if you don't mind, can I add one update?
Yeah.
This year we could handle maximum, which is 1,000 tons per day through this platform for tomato.
True. So just to add to Abba, right? So what is to happen in the past? Sahyadri has this capacity to do processing, right? Tomato processing, and daily like 400 to 1,000 metric ton is the capacity they can process. In the past, what used to happen? This management of this entire thing used to happen manually. But since this platform is there now, entire mobility, procurement, and everything is happening on the platform. Even during the pandemic, also last year, right, the lockdown, and now still farmers are able to book everything online, and this is still smooth journey for any farmer to deliver. So this is an example of young minds who started fresh out of the college, just when they started journey, we gave them challenge, and in 2 years they were able to achieve something like this. Another startup, Agro Trust, it's a platform they have created. They are Emertech Innovations. Abba actually introduced them to us as well as Sahyadri. Gaurav, Manish, Ganesh, and Aditya are the one very passionate young guys, wants to solve something for agriculture ecosystem. Very strong in the blockchain technology, so they understand the blockchain. Now, but however, understanding the technology is not the only thing, right? So really, it is need to sort of apply it, and also apply with a proper human-centric design. So we call it Digital Impact Square humanizing the technology. So what Gaurav and team have done is they've actually brought this entire agriculture value chain onto blockchain platform and created a transparency. So this is the first time where there is a two-way transparency is actually brought on the platform. So most of the times you might have seen maybe transparency is given to only consumers. But here farmer as well as consumers are getting transparency. So let's say me as a consumer is able to know where exactly this good came from, the kind of quality measures it has. And from farmer side, also it gives a transparency about where exactly this my good is sold and how much actually I'm getting. And also this is the first time the entire wastage during the supply chain or value chain is actually calculated and measured on the platform. So I'm happy to share more than 2 million actually QR code they were able to, and they were able to create this as a transparent, I would say, goods which were shipped through this platform. And most of the farmers and procurement and as well as delivery through Sahyadri actually happens through their platform. So this is also unique initiative where first time in the agriculture ecosystem such a huge platform is implemented and scaled at a level. Another startups which is a non-agriculture, Trestle Lab. So when they started their journey at Digital Impact Square, we actually give them a challenge. How do you create an accessible environment for visually impaired community? And this team actually spent a couple of months understanding what does accessibility means to community. And what they have done is they came up with the unique IoT-based platform, which gives a print disability access to the solve that print disability problem to the visually impaired community. So what it does is this platform is used by students who wants to pursue their education beyond 12th. Our braille lipis are available till 10th or 12th. Beyond that, if somebody wants to learn, it is very difficult for them. So what this platform does in real time, any printed material which is available is converted into an audio, and it is available on the mobile platform for visually impaired community or students to kind of pursue their learning. Now, most important thing is if this platform is not there, what visually impaired community is doing. So today what happens if I'm a visually impaired student and wants to pursue, I will approach any NGOs or any like-minded people to request them to record this and give it to me. And today these NGOs might be taking a couple of months before they can record any printed material and hand it over to you. And now that experience is not at all there. So what they have done is digital, non-digital, all the content are available on the same platform. So more than 34,000 visually impaired are actually benefited today. And if you can see that more than 24 million minutes of engagement happened. So they have actually, they started scaling, and not only in India, there are other countries also where this platform is deployed by them. Now, I wanted to share what we've been achieving and some of the stories, but I want to step back and take you to the why we are doing, how are we doing, and how we started. So I'll start with this slide. So Mr. Desh Deshpande is one of the great philanthropist and serial entrepreneur in India, and currently based out of US, from Hubli. So what he says that progress of any country depends on the amount of percentage of people lies in these three categories. The first category is tolerate. So chalta hai kind of category, right? ठीक है, चलता है. we will see people who tolerate that kind of category. So those are also people are in the community. Second category is people who talk about it. They will make a noise. They will highlight it. They may address it. They may actually sort of highlight it on different mediums. Could be social media or maybe different mediums. But there are people who actually go on solving these problems. And if you look at Silicon Valley, there are more problem solvers than people who are in the tolerate and wine category. Now, this is very important for we as a nation also. As many as we actually create this problem solver, we would be able to bring that kind of approach in them to really solve the problem, and that's how nation can be built. If you look at, so we call this as a problem-rich and solver-rich society. You know, Silicon Valley is a maybe solver-rich society, but I think the problem are also an opportunity most of the world, right? So that's where focus should be on bringing certain disruptive solutions and innovations which can really solve the problem, not only an incremental solution. But if you look at, there is a lot of curious community around us. So especially you, most of you represent academia also. So a lot of curiosity is there in the academia. A lot of research happens, hackathons, context, which keeps happening. Whereas the other side, where there is a startup, social enterprises, incubators, not-for-profit, government, these are the people who are creating an impact on the field. But many times what happens is not always innovator is an entrepreneur, and that's always a gap. So there are people who are innovating, they may not be an entrepreneur. So that's a gap which is actually increasing, and that is where impact is not happening. What we do at Digital Impact Square exactly bridges this gap. So we bring this curious community, academic community, very young students who are just about to graduate or completed a graduation, and we facilitate, and through this spot, probe, grow and scale methodology we have done. So this is what a unique proposition of Digital Impact Square. But let me, before even getting into Digital Impact Square, I wanted to share how we came in picture as a Digital Impact Square. And I'll take you back to the, Abba talked about Kumbh Mela. So I'll take you back to the January 2014, where so we as a Nasik hosted a last Kumbh Mela on 2015, August 2015. But if I go back to the Kumbh Mela in 2003, we actually lost almost 38 lives because of the stampede in Nashik. And if you look at most of the Kumbh Mela, so either you will have epidemic after the Kumbh Mela, or you may have missing people. And that's the reason in the photo, if you see the Professor Ramesh Raskar at Ink platform, actually started thinking about, can we do something in Nashik Kumbh Mela? So about Professor Ramesh Raskar, he's actually heading one of the largest lab called Camera Culture Lab in the Media Lab, MIT Media Lab, Boston. He's one of the great scientists in MIT, but he focuses on solving and creating a community of solvers globally, which can not only solve the problems, but also create a right community. So he happened to be from Nashik. And what happened, he along with one of our friend met in Ink Talk, and that's how they actually started thinking about, can we do something for Nashik? And then they met somebody called Dr. Sachin Patsurkar, which Abba talked about. In this photo, there is Dr. Sachin Patsurkar, who's actually management professor in Nashik, one of the management institute, but he's very passionate about building an ecosystem. So he, along with Professor Ramesh Raskar and others, thought, can we really create something in Nashik Kumbh Mela? And that's where Kumbhathon initiative was born, where industrialized, somebody like leaders from the industry like Mr. Ajay Bora, he's a co-founder of Credila Finance. They are a pioneer in education loan in India. So they just successfully exited last year. And he actually also believed in the ecosystem. So he actually joined the Kumbhathon initiative. So let me tell you, any journey, right? Any journey doesn't happen with, it doesn't happen with a very smooth journey, but there are always roller coaster rides. And same way this journey also started. Here, Dr. Sachin Patsurkar and Sunil from our Kumbhathon team, first time they actually made administration here in 2014 to discussing about we would like to do something for Kumbh Mela through innovations. And we believe that journey of rejection to celebration started from here. And there are always rejection, and we understand because there were thousands of people who were giving advice to administration. And initially they thought these could be one of those 1,000 people. But you know, our Kumbhathon team didn't stop there. They went to different engineering colleges, management colleges, and then different institutes within the Nasik. And you know, young minds always believe in new ways of doing things, and they believed on the Kumbhathon initiative. They joined Kumbhathon Hands, and almost 1,000 plus students apply to solve some of the important challenges might be faced in the upcoming Kumbh Mela, which is 2015. And to our surprise, these students also came up with very interesting ideas. So we shortlisted 25 broad challenges, and as well as 50 students from this. And we initiated first Kumbh Mela. And what really happened in this journey is Mr. Ramesh Raskar from MIT Media Lab, he used to bring scientists from MIT every 3 months at digital in Nashik to really work along with these students and guide them. And this is one of the photo. If you look at the first photo where rejection, the second photo where Municipal Commissioner Mr. Praveen Gedam actually having meeting with all of us at 1 p.m. 1 a.m. in the morning. This shows the kind of changes and beliefs might shift if you actually focus on what you want to do. And here in the another photo now is Mr. Eknath Dawle. He was divisional commissioner then. Now he is agriculture secretary for Maharashtra government. All of this transition from rejection to accepting and celebration happened in MIT Media Lab, where we actually took a delegation of 40 people to celebrate success of Kumbh Mela in MIT Media Lab. This is the first time ever happened that MIT celebrated something happened outside MIT, and where if you look at most of the important people from Nasik district were there. Mr. Kushwaha he was actually a collector then. Now he's the CEO of Maharashtra State Innovation Society. Played an important role in implementing 13 innovation in Kumbh Mela. What Kumbhathon actually created. With other dignitaries also, we were able to go there. But one of the important thing happened was during this journey, we actually created a lot of learnings, and this is where I want to share with you. So this is the first Kumbhathon we actually did in January 2014. If you look at these photos, and I'm sharing these all pictures and memories. So the first photo on the left, where the first meeting we had in the first Kumbhathon we did, it was a 4 days non-stop day and night buildathon. So we never call it as an hackathon. Hackathon is where you come, you do hackathon, you win certain prizes, and you go and forget about it. Buildathon is you continuously keep on building after even you finish the buildathon. So 4 days of buildathon where they were representative from Nasik Municipal Corporation and Nasik administration to share some of the challenges faced by authorities during Kumbh Mela. And this is where they actually shared challenges in front of all those 150 students who actually selected for this Kumbhathon. And if you look at this, the young guy here in the red shirt, Nilay, he was in 8th grade. He was also one of the students selected for this. And believe me that if we give right mentorship guidance to such a young kids also, they can do wonders. So he ended up building a platform which helped to kind of police to solve the problem of stampede, and I'll share that in subsequent slide. So this is a power of building an ecosystem and bringing the right expert and right place on the in the ecosystem. So this is also one of the photo where most of the corporate in Nashik started supporting Kumbhathon and mentoring these young minds. is another example. So today, right now, I'm focusing on how do you build a community and how do you build a technology company in Nashik. Their founders are very passionate about technology and as well as Nashik. So Vinjit acted as a sort of co-working space for Kumbhathon. A lot of meeting used to happen at Vinjit, and a lot of time scientists are hosted there. This is also example is one thing what we did at Kumbhathon, and I'm very proud to share, being co-founder as well as CEO of Kumbhathon also, is we never raised any fund at Kumbhathon. What we raise is the people, community, and resources. And that really helped us to build a right community and right player. And people believed in during this journey of Kumbhathon. This is the first time TCS got officially involved. Till the 2015, because I'm from Nashik, I'm part of this core Kumbhathon team. I was doing out of my passion. But here, our CTO and our entire team got involved officially in Kumbhathon. And they believed in the approach what we took along with MIT Media Lab. And TCS actually, I'm happy to share, maybe that is there in the Tata group to support any individual who wants to pursue beyond business. So they allowed me to continue to focus on Kumbhathon, and they actually actually gave me paid sabbatical after this particular. This was the 4th Kumbhathon we did. Every 3 months we used to conduct this Kumbhathon where MIT Media Lab team used to come to Nashik to work with the with students. And here they allowed me to pursue my passion and continue in Kumbhathon without any focus on a commercial aspect. And this is an important meeting happened in Kumbhathon 4, where most of the corporate, TCS, Google, we had IBM, Intel, many corporates were part of this Kumbhathon 4 to guide these young minds. And 2 important decisions were taken. One, out of these 25 challenges, they said these are the 12 which can be deployed in upcoming Kumbh Mela. So in January 2015, a year after we started Kumbhathon, we actually, what we used to do is every 3 months we used to conduct this Kumbhathon. But what used to happen between these 3 months is we used to leverage this Nashik ecosystems. I talked about Vinjit, I talked about Mr. Ajay Bora. We actually used to work closely with the student between these 3 months to progress on those prototypes they are creating and working on and keep on building. So once MIT Media Labs team is coming, they will help them to even take it to the next level in every 3 months. And this is a time these are all industry experts, helped us to narrow down from 25 to 12 and say focus only on these 12 which can be implemented. And I'm happy to share almost 13 innovations were implemented in Kumbh Mela. Second most important thing happened here. They said they have never seen such a ecosystems anywhere in India, where administration, academia, scientists, then students are coming together and solving the important problem for the community. So you should continue this beyond Kumbh Mela. And Professor Ramesh and Kumbhathon team announced that we will have some social innovation center in Nashik. This we announced in January 2015 itself. And then we went on building a thought process. And another thing is when TCS got officially involved in this Kumbhathon, January 2015, other important people who are actually working in TCS also got involved to support and mentor these teams. And one of the platform TCS developed for farmer actually deployed in Kumbh Mela to do a collaboration between different units within the administration. And Samir and Girish actually joined hands, and they are now part of a core team at Digital Impact Square. This is one of the important moment and meetings happened where Mr. Ramesh Raskar and the left photo, we had a meeting with Mr. Chandra, who is now chairman of Tata Group, to really discuss on what to do beyond Kumbh Mela. And Kumbh Mela was about to sort of come within 2-3 months. But the planning was what to do beyond Kumbh Mela also, when we are focusing on deploying certain innovation in Kumbh Mela. And that's where Mr. Chandra, he was CEO then, he was a TCS CEO. So he said definitely we would be happy to support Kumbhathon as well as MIT Media Lab in this initiative and really support this social innovation center in Nashik. And that is a time where a lot of engagement even increased from TCS side to support and mentor some of the teams at Digital Impacts, so at the Kumbhathon. And this is what August 2015. So Nilay here again in the first photo on the left corner, laptop. He actually developed an IoT platform. It's a footmat he actually developed. What is to happen in Kumbh Mela? A stampede happened in this. So there are different ghats actually where people come and take a holy bath. And you don't know how many people are actually there in that specific location. And what happens in Nashik Kumbh, that happens exactly at the heart of the city. A narrow road, narrow lanes and everything. Now what happens is it is very difficult for police force to understand how many people are there and control it. What Nilay and team have done is, instead of going for very high-tech technology, they've actually converted a dump mat into a smart mat. And it was almost covering the entire road. They actually deployed, and everybody who were walking over there, that mat, everybody was getting counted. And when this is happening, that police is able to know that how many people entered the specific area, and accordingly they control. Now many such initiatives were deployed. One initiative was leveraging mobile tower data to understand the flow of the crowd and the heat map where the crowd is actually more, and accordingly take measures. There was a plan. So, sorry,
sir. Go
ahead. I think by mistake. Sorry, extreme mistake.
Yeah. So this is what some of these deployed, and then we started focusing on beyond Kumbh Mela to set up something in Nashik. And this is one of the meeting where Mr. Hasit Kazi, he was strategic initiative head for TCS, made an in charge of doing something in Nashik. And that's where he came forward and created this beautiful digital impact square. You also saw a video. And we actually continue to, we launch actually this concept and what we want to do at Nashik in MIT Media Lab in October 2015, when all of us went for celebrating Kumbh Mela success. And that's where Mr. Chandra announced that we are actually launching something along with MIT Media Lab in Nashik to take this forward. And this is where journey of Digital Impact Square started. And I'll quickly cover that and what happens at Digital Impact Square. So we actually have this model of spot, probe, grow, and scale. What we do is in the spot, we spot the right challenges to solve for a community. We spot right partners. Example, Sahyadri Farms is one of the, where our philosophy and their philosophy is there. They would like to create an impact on the farming ecosystem or rural. We believe that we also would like to create. And that's where there is an alignment in the thought process. They understand the ground as well as the community, and they are one of the partners. And they actually give us challenges, and we launch those challenges on an online platform called Digital Impact Square, where innovators across India, especially students who are about to graduate from engineering, management, design, healthcare, agriculture colleges, apply to solve those. And we handpick few through our selection process, and then they join Digital Impact Square in the probe phase. And I'll explain in subsequent slide. In the probe phase is a 6-month phase. And then they move to the grow phase. Purpose of probe phase is the identifying right opportunity and converting into a right prototype. And then moving into grow phase, where converting that prototype into a minimum viable product, and also with the right business model, and launch their startup. So this is what happens at spot phase. We curate challenges through our partners. Then we identify right students or innovators. In the pro phase, we actually help them to discover right opportunity area through design thinking. A lot of coaching happens. And then they come up with a rapid prototype as well as a minimum viable prototype in 6 months, which is a piloted and experimented on field. And where they get a feedback from the community also. A lot of co-creation happens. That's where jury comes and they actually evaluate whether they are going on a right track. If they are, then they move to the next phase called grow phase. And then they actually focus on converting that MVP into a minimum viable product and launch their startup within a year's time frame. And then they graduate out of Digital Impact Square. This is what journey happens, but how we actually encourage a lot of deep field immersion. So these students, these innovators, teams actually spend a lot of time with the communities. First 3 months are actually field immersion before they actually start solving any problem. and then they identify right opportunity which is validated with the ecosystem partners, and then they move on to solve those problems. We actually celebrate failures at Digital Impact Square. Through rapid prototyping, we encourage them to fail fast, create quick prototypes and experiment, and fail fast and fail forward. And a lot of these learning are used by them to take it forward and implement on the field. What is unique about Digital Impact Square? We facilitate multidisciplinary team. So we bring students from or innovators from engineering, management, design, or maybe domain. Somebody could be from agriculture, healthcare. Multidisciplinary team actually brings a lot of different thought process, and where we have innovation coach and design coach actually assigned full time to them during this 12 to 18 month journey to guide them. So this is a typical journey happens at any for any startup at Digital Impact Square. Where they come, so we assign them challenge as a grand challenge. We help them to build any team, and within 18 months they actually launch their startups. Some of these glimpses of photos of some of the things happened at Digital Impact Square. With the interest of time, I may skip this, but I can just share some of these photos. So this is what actually happens at Digital Impact Square, and what I want to share, last thing is, it is not about just building technologies, but I think it is building together with the community is more important. That's where we focus on human-centered design approach and co-creating with the community and our ecosystem partners. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have now.
Thank you, Sandeep sir. It was really mind-blowing and engaging presentation and detailed thought process presentation. I request fellow colleagues and alumni, if they have any question, they can write in chat box, or they can feel free to open the mic one by one and ask the questions.
Yeah, I think Mr. Sudhir Early sir is having one question. Early sir, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, all. My question is to Sandeep sir: how to build an ecosystem for a particular task? Is there any standard operating procedure, or it depends upon the you can say the type of the task?
Yeah, I think so. The reason I shared the journey of Kumbhathon, right? So it took almost for us 18 months to 2 years at Kumbhathon also to build a right ecosystem, and that's what we continue to leverage in Digital Impact Square. So first thing is ecosystem development of ecosystem is a journey, right? That's what first thing I wanted to share. Second is it start maybe a small where you pick any right purpose for the community, and then maybe you start. So we pick Kumbh Mela as a purpose, right? Solving the Kumbh Mela problem, and where entire city was anyway coming together to solve those problems, administration and everybody. Now in your region, if there is any important aspect you feel that people and community will come together, you pick that aspect. That is number one. Second, when it comes to these initiatives like building an ecosystem, we have to be very open. So it is not like Dr. Patorkar, me, Ramesh Raskar, we actually co-founders, we believe that we created Kumbhathon, it is our. No. So what happened is we started accepting people with their views, thought process, and that really helped us to bring the right people in the community. So example, Mr. Ajay Bora, when he comes with a lot of experience of building a large scale enterprises and as well as a corporate experience, right? So he came up with his thought process, how it can be done, and we happily accepted that. So while building a community also, it is very important to be open. At the same time, there are many nuances also. There are people who may want to come to you with certain interest, and there is no other alternative to first understand them, accept, and then maybe try, and these people will go away, because when you build a community, everybody expected to contribute, not through money, but through effort and intellectual or resources, right? And these people will go away, and the people who will stay, right? Today also we still have a Mr. Ajay Bora, Dr. Ramesh Raskar, and most of the people who joined, right? So building an ecosystem is a journey. You start with the purpose, then get a right set of people, and stay together. Now, another important thing is many times we get into a trap on raising funds, so quite early. And that's where then people start feeling that are there any special interest these people have, and then they start losing the interest. So I don't believe that there is a need of fund when you want to build an ecosystem. What is needed is the right set of communities together.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for a very nice answer.
Thank you, Sudhir, for that question. I think what I understand from you, sir, is collaboration is key for every success. Because if collaboration is not happening through entire, stakeholders in that system, it will never succeed. And there's in this same context, we have a question from Professor Vikram Korpai. He is from ICT, sir. 2 weeks back, he gave a fantastic presentation on the same platform. He's asking you, hi Sandeep sir, a lot of thanks for this presentation. You had mentioned that you celebrate the failures and then take learnings to improve further. In what way you motivate people?
Definitely. See, what happens is Digital Impact Square is a co-working space, right? And it's a quite vibrant ecosystem. That is one. Second is also because it's a quite hands-on. So, example, if anybody is working in agriculture, you will see these people often in Sahyadri farms, and you will not believe that whether they are Sahyadri's employee or they are part of Digital Impact Square. So motivation doesn't come only from us. Motivation comes from ecosystem. Motivation comes from users. Motivations come from the beneficiary also. And what we feel is, because it's a co-working space, lot of time motivation also comes from each other. So example, there are failures, but they also see a light of the day, right? So there are some teams which are actually able to do pilots. They're able to see some lives are saved. Now motivations also comes from each other, because these are all young kids, young guys, young innovator with the same age. A lot of support actually from each other happens. That is number one. Number two, at Digital Impact Square, we know that when they are working on such a social problems, right, and there are also breakdowns many times, because when they see a pain for that farmer, what they are going through, and they actually also break down. But what we generally encourage is to them to again go through this model of design thinking, where you be empathetic rather than sympathetic to the community. And these different interventions are helping them to again getting back. Another thing is that is reason one of the important aspect we assign innovation coach and design coach as a full-time to these teams, where we also live this journey along with them. What happens is we created certain maybe an event, informal event at Digital Impact Square. Example, we created, let's say, weekly peer adda, where these failures are shared and the learnings are shared by them, and shared in a way that people casually learn from each others, and as well as they celebrate also. And that's where motivation comes. Motivation comes with, okay, you already shared, but then there are conversations which are happening. How can you do better? Or somebody else might have done better the same thing. Then they actually share there, and you actually move on. And that is how we actually have a lot of these interventions, I would say. And most important motivation comes, in my belief, is once they start seeing that their thing is actually deployed and at least used by somebody. And that is the best motivation for them.
Great, sir. What I feel personally, when I always look at this, it is a great combination where we always talk about institutes and industry should come together. So you create that right bridge, and most important thing, you give a right mix on, like you said, not on sympathetic but empathetic basis. So you give that business sense to them when it comes to, say, finding the true idea, solving the problem, and scaling it. So that's really important in any initiative in our life, whether it is a personal initiative or whether it is business initiative. We need to look at these things very, very sensibly. There's another question from young friend Rahul Parai. How can students get connected with this so that they can get chance to solve challenges and problems?
So generally we have two innovation cycle, one in January and July. But January is our main important innovation cycle. So what happens is we actually launch the challenges somewhere in August, September for all the students across India. And students can apply to join Digital Impact Square by proposing certain interventions to the challenges. And then there is a selection process which goes till October, November, December, and then we actually onboard them. So I will encourage you to sort of go through digitalimpactsquare.com site and ask students to apply there on the site when we will launch the application for next cohort. That's how I would recommend.
Okay.
And I will share with Abba for next cycle so that he can share with this entire community.
Absolutely. In fact, Swapnil had asked and commented something. I think, Swapnil, just for information, this session I was after Sandeep sir quite long, because it is one of the great example that if you identify opportunity for improvement in your community around, and if you work positively and passionately, I think correct people gather around you. And that's where in Marathi, like we say, काम चालू करणं हा श्री गणेश करणंच 50% काम done असतं. So like that, it started attracting various ecosystem stakeholders, including TCS, and today the entire efforts got converted into a very innovative organization called DISC. So we wanted to take that inspiration, and accordingly at RA, I think like Marathi sir always tells us that we should convert agriculture into agribusiness, being from Sangli and very rich agri zone. And when I came here and saw the fantastic work, I think most of these, I think we already met Gaurav and Aditya. Sir, they were here on our platform. I'm going to do one special program on all those innovations separately, how we are using those applications. So thank you. If there is any question, we can take it with permission of all of you. Otherwise, it is already 10:30, time to close. Is there any question?
Hello. Hello, it is SM Sauntar here.
Ha, sir.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks, Abha and all the teams, because really an excellent person with whom we are interacting to now. And this is the development in the Nashik area. So what I feel that through RIT alumni or through RA, these people are coming to the RIT and interacting with our students, maybe whenever it is possible, personally, and they can see the developments of the RIT. Really, our students can take the participation in this development of this DISC activities. And really, I thank you all as a part of faculty of the RIT. And I'm really proud of the alumni, those who are working for the development of the RIT. Thank you very much. And one thing,
yes, sir.
Just now today in the news, I saw that there are, due to the work from home, the two engineering students, those who are working from home, they have started their own business in the Kotoli near Kolhapur, one village. And such type of the peoples are also available in this area. So if they get the idea regarding DISC is available for their helping them, really it is good. What I'll suggest, whenever it possible for us, to the visit of our students to the Nashik area, Sahyadri as well as the DISC, or persons from the DISC and the Sahyadri, if they are visiting RIT, that will be the really helps us to do the interaction for the benefit of both of us. Thank you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you for being there always. And as I always have told Professor Pisa, I don't know whether he's on the call. Sir, Sandeep sir, we have an excellent incubation center built at RIT. A separate building, separate, thanks to RIT management for giving that entire separate setup. And Professor Pisar is doing excellent work. They already have Section 8 company. So we'll definitely like to have your guidance there whenever possible. I know you are very busy. So Pisar sir, if you can just add a few comments from your end.
Yes, definitely. Right now, Sudhir sir, he is also CEO of this Netra RIT Foundation Incubation Center. So definitely, sir, we would like to invite you at our center for building such kind of ecosystem, because the surrounding to this incubation center, intake of the students as far as this intake is concerned, and opportunity. So considering this, the proper economic system, ecosystem can be developed. And for developing this ecosystem, we need your help, sir. So definitely, after this lockdown, we would like to invite you.
Yes, sir. That's why I asked the question, how to build the ecosystem. Actually, we would like to build the ecosystem at our RIT Incubation Center, what Pisa sir had just said. And actually, I was going to invite you officially for your support for developing the ecosystem at RIT. And on that line, I actually asked the question, sir. Thank you. You are most welcome to RIT, sir.
Definitely happy to contribute. I think Abba, there are a couple of questions which I'm just going through it.
Actually, I was about to ask my great friend Yogesh to ask those questions because lots of comments are from him, and then close the session also. Yogesh, over to you for conclusion.
Hey, sorry. Thanks, Abba, and thanks, Mr. Sandeep. Actually, I was trying to answer some of those questions in the text to keep the session to within the time. So some questions were coming about specifics of design thinking, how to do the idea generation and all. So Sandeep, not to kind of take something from you, but I thought let me just kind of respond while you are responding on other topics. So there are a lot of things. I think design thinking itself is a topic of probably another session, and I can get someone or I can conduct myself further if they want. But yeah, I think somebody had asked this question: what is idea generation and what are the methodologies? So I mean, there is no fixed methodology in my mind, right? There are several techniques people use for idea generation, like storyboarding, brainstorming. There are some tools like Scamper and all methodologies people use. A bunch of things can be done. There is something called as worst idea possible also, where people just come in together and put whatever moonshot ideas come to their mind. And the idea is not to think that any idea is not possible, very long shot or stupid, but if you have something very extreme put there, then you come down from that and try to find out ideas, what are more doable. And again, this whole process is an iterative process, right? It is not that you spend 6 months building an idea and coming up with a perfect solution and then start implementing. Somebody also asked a question about a failure, how it feels when it is a failure. So I don't think when it comes to design thinking principles, you look at it as a failure. It's like a fail fast approach, wherein you try out certain things which you know that it probably will not work 100% what you look at, but idea is not put everything on the paper, wait for 6 months, and after 6 months find out that this idea is not good for you. So do something quickly within first 1 or 2 weeks, try out some things, and if it doesn't work, move on. So like Edison used to say, it not that he had 1,000 failures to invent a light bulb. He invented a light bulb which just happened to be a 1,000-step process. So that's how we look at it. It's not really a failure when your idea fails. It is just that important is you understand soon that it is not a workable solution for your problem, and then move on. And Sandeep, over to you if you want to add something to that.
Yeah. So couple of, I think I'll so one is about especially definitely there is a separate session needs on the design thinking, but in the design thinking, first important aspect is you first understand why you would like to do something, why you would like to solve a problem, right? many times idea comes quite later part of the journey, but first identifying the right opportunities first most important aspect in design thinking. And there are a lot of tools, techniques available on online also to apply those. But when it comes to one, I saw a couple of comments on the what is the thought process going on when there are failures, right? So if you look at the way I approach, right, and even when I coach teams also, see, failures are going to happen when we are working in unknowns, right? So we are not working on something which is solved problems. We are working on wicked problems, important problem for nation. Some certain challenges are going to be thrown on us, but I think so I actually I'm also quite inspired from Mr. Desh Deshpande sir, and before setting up Digital Impact Square, and also I would encourage if there is a way for all of you once this pandemic is over, please do visit Hubli. Definitely come to Nashik first at DISC and Sahyadri, but do visit Hubli, where they have also created an amazing sandbox, and a lot of inspirations we had from them also, where when I spent a couple of days there and spent with him also. So one thing he told us, these challenges will keep happening, right? And especially if you have taken social innovation as a area to create an impact or wants to stay with that, right? Now what happens is you should always look at those community for whom you want to solve the problem. If you keep those communities in mind, all these failures, challenges are actually small in front of them, because your goal is not the challenges or small failures, but you are looking beyond that. These are the larger problem you want to solve for those community. If that is kept in mind, you will not hesitate to go and talk to anybody. So I generally don't hesitate to sort of speak to anybody, whether CEO of any companies or administration, to kind of really guide any of the team, or if there are any challenges, to approach anybody. Because what happens is, goal is very clear. I'm not doing something for me. So I want to really create this ecosystems where impact is made on the farmers, then health worker, and this community. So if you keep that kind of goal in mind, I think that's what thought process I always have, because I think somebody asked me what is the thought process goes when there are failures or challenges. I'll put it that way. So that's what so I wanted to add, Yogesh.
Thank you, sir. And with this,
thank you.
I once again thank you for being here, guiding us, inspiring us, and I'm sure entire RA task force as well as all who are part of today's call, we would love to host you at RIT sometime. For that, at least I hope this pandemic to finish at the earliest, and we meet physically and collaborate between, I think, Islampur, which is our city, which is our where we all studied, and Nashik. I think we can build that particular bridge. Thank you all for being here. Please do not forget to visit our LinkedIn page and write about the program. Once again, thank you, Sandeep sir. Thank you, RA Task Force team. Good night and take care.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks. It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.